There we go, right. This, believe it or not, costs, I think with VAT, it's about 50 quid. I'm a little bit skeptical, but it's not, oh. Yeah, that's not ideal. Welcome back. If you remember the last video where we were looking at my own cows, all three of them, I said they were in this massive permanent pasture field and it's starting to grow quite a lot of grass and it's going to get away from them fairly quickly. I also hinted we were going to try and do something about it. So welcome back to the Straharchik cattle empire. This is what we're doing today. We're going to try and subdivide some paddocks. Now, for all that I'm a big fan of subdivision for our farmers to be doing, I've got a confession. I've never actually subdivided a paddock before. I've barely put an electric fence up before. So I'm gonna have to master that. Well, if not master it, at least have a passable attempt. The other thing, apart from fencing, is I've got to sort out some water because this field is about 28 acres, I think, and there's 2 water troughs, which we could do sort of like a wheel and spoke model from, but they're pretty much in the same corner. Not quite, but they're pretty much in the same corner. They're certainly on the same side of the field. So I've hopefully got a solution to that as well. At least a temporary one. Let's get into it. So I got a bit carried away the other day. I've got some toys. Of course, all absolutely necessary. This, my pipe cutter. We'll find out if it's any good later. It's really going to be the theme of this video. A few fittings. Oh, there we go. Got a few fittings. So this, believe it or not, costs, I think with VAT, it's about 50 quid, maybe slightly shy of. But I'm told this particular make is worth it. And to be fair, I did consider buying a cheap one, I'll be totally honest. But remember, this isn't my field, and my thoughts are, I should try and make a proper job of it. Because if there's a problem, I can just turn that stopcock, tighten it off, shut the water off, and fix it there. This pipe doesn't have any sort of system stopping it yet, so hopefully we're going to fix that. Now, I think, and we could come unstuck here, the pipe coming out of the ground, supplying the water, is a 20 mil diameter, but the pipe I have is 25 mil. So I've got a converter. Again, it's a Plasson make, so hopefully that should see me right. I got one of these because I thought that might be quite helpful just to make a bend in it. I don't quite know. Well, it's better. I thought it was better to have too many fittings. These weren't as expensive as the stopcock. And actually, I suppose 50 quid versus 25 quid for the sake of a bit of security. It's probably worth having. Oh yeah, and the other thing I have are these liners. So there's the 25 mil ones. They go down in the pipe, supposedly. And these are meant to sit in the pipe where you've cut your junctions to sort of make everything flush, I believe. It's probably a better way of explaining that. But we've got them, and then those are the 20 mil ones. So, should probably give it a go, eh? Now, this, if you notice, this field actually has a paddock like within it. The girls are down there. You probably won't be able to see them, but they're hanging out by the gateway. There's some cattle pens. But there's a smaller paddock within this field. Now, that would be quite a nice starter for 10 in terms of fencing it off and subdividing the paddocks. But there's no water trough in here. Now, what there is a water supply, because there used to be a water trough in here. In fact, you can see there's the part of the old water trough between the new fence and the old fence. So that, yeah, there you go, there's the new fence. And this, I mean, I'm not a fencer, but it looks pretty new to me with the creosote. So I presume that's gone in the last few years or so. And I had to dig around last week to look for this, because Fraser said there should be a supply. It's not on the mains, which actually is going to do us some favours, and I'll explain why in a second. It's bent, and earlier in the week it was tied up with some, not cable ties, with some baler twine. It's tied up with a lambing rope because I untied it to make sure it was patent and flowing, and it was. But I got so excited and carried away that I cut it without having anything ready to retie it. So I used what I had in my truck, and that was a lambing rope. So that is what's holding us together for now. You see that bend, and that's keeping it, well, kinked, I guess. This is a drinker I got from my colleague Joe. It's actually his. The idea is, I'll just put it there for now. That's 25 mils pipe feeding this drinker. The idea is that spike goes all the way down into the ground, and then it should fill from the bottom here, and when the cows put their nose down on it, that should fill it. Now, if you remember, I said that's not from the mains, and that's quite important actually. Now, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure in the UK you can't use that style of trough which fills from the bottom and there's no airlock. Again, do not quote me on this, on a main supply. Now, that is not a main supply. I guess it's a borehole, some other supply. So we should be kosher on that front. The make of the trough, by the way, it's obviously had a little bit of wear and tear. You can see that here. It's a Progressive Farming Company, Kiwi Tech micro trough. They say it can water up to 50 cattle. Now, what it is very solid. In fact, it's way more solid than it looks. That is pretty thick plastic. But I'm a little bit skeptical. I'd be interested to know if anyone's operating one or more of these troughs, how many do they find they can actually water safely and reliably. But as we've got two heifers, a cow and a calf, I think we're going to be okay. So my plan is convert that pipe to a 25 mil gauge, pop the Plaisant stopcock on, so we've got a mechanism to stop it. Then I'm going to hook up this micro trough. I don't think I'm actually going to use much of my spare pipe there. I've got heaps of pipe, but apart from hooking up the little attachments, I think I'm going to leave that for now and just put it here, because then I can shut off this paddock, and then I'll come back hopefully tomorrow if I get my act together and subdivide it into even smaller sections. That's the plan. I've never done it before, and for those of you watching, I imagine many of you watching will have hooked up plenty of this type of kit before, and I'm going to make some very, very elementary errors. But what are mistakes if not opportunities to grow? So growth mindset, I think that's called. So get that out of the way. Like I said, I've got no means of turning that feeding, like the source pipe, off. So I think I'm going to get everything else hooked up and ready, and then try and stick the converter on while it's flowing. It's not particularly high pressure. I mean, it's high pressure enough for what we need it to do, but it's not like it's going to come out like a fire hose and going to stop me putting it on, hopefully. Okay. Keep the rubbish all on that side. Now I could probably do with a set of pliers, couldn't I? Oh, there you go. Who needs tools, eh? Who needs tools? So, how much we shouldn't need too much converting, to be honest, should we? Like converting tube. I'm going to stick it, well, maybe I'll make it like that. So, right. Now, oh, I was expecting, that's quite good, that. There's another. So that fits down there. So you see what I mean about it? I mean, that's quite, I think, a reasonably square cut anyway. The idea of this little widget is that it squares it off. Yeah, I think, oh, there you go. So that's you can see there, so again, Plaisant's a brand. I have seen them elsewhere. It wasn't just Joe that recommended them to me. So there is the 25 mil end. And that is you can see there's a difference, there's a 20 mil end. It does say on them as well, but you can see there's no obvious difference. That one is wider than that one. Well, that looks better. Okay. So there you go. So I feed that off there. Again, converter, 25 mil stopcock. And I'm going to try just hooking that up to the micro trough, but I'm going to have to move you guys because you are hooked onto the micro trough at the moment. Oh, don't lose that. That is off, isn't it? Yeah, righty-tighty. I know for some of you this will be like watching a small child learn its ABCs, except the small child is a 31-year-old man. So there you go. So you can see here, that's the bit we've added. Converter, a little bit of pipe, stopcock, and then we've got, yeah, who knows, 5-10 meters of pipe. The idea with this is you drag it, so you up and move it, and that spike is how you sink it into the ground. It just sits at ground, like there, this would be the ground level, so they can't knock it over. And the idea is hopefully, we've got these divided off, probably going to be that way, so they've always got some shade. I know there's not a lot of shade in this field, but at least that tree line should offer some shade. So this is kind of the moment of truth, where we connect this, we've just rigged up, to the source over there. Right, where's my stuff? Here we go, right. Liner. This could be quite embarrassing, guys, but I know you won't. I know it's all about support, isn't it? Where's the cutters? At least, hopefully, I should have my lambing rope back by the end of this. There we go. See, I don't want to attach it up there because that's leaking already, and I think that'll probably start leaking before long as well. So, and obviously just to make it interesting, I'm doing it between two fences. There we go, right. Useless bit. And put, oh my God. There we go. I squared that off because that's a horribly unsquare cut. Oh, I don't want to get the GoPro too wet. Get off. Oh, oh gosh, this is the... Now, why is that doing that? Not really what I want to be happening. I'm going to have to unscrew that, aren't I? We are running. If I show you it. We are running. If I... tip that out a few times. So that's running, which is not bad, but we've not, it's not, oh. Yeah, that's not ideal. So yeah, that's where we are. We've got this, that's better, I think. Like, we've got the expensive and the well, yeah, we've got the important and expensive bit up out the way. The only thing is this, I'm like not quite sure what to do. May end up needing to use my lambing rope again just to tie this up, just out the way, because I'm just going to put it here for now, and I'm not even going to close the paddock up, but I am going to try and show those cows who are down there having a siesta, show them the water's here and see if they use it. But I don't think that's a bad effort for me, for now. We'll perfect the system, and I'm sure those of you watching, some of you watching, will have interesting and intelligent feedback and suggestions. I'm going to tie that up, turn it on, and show the cows. That's what we're going to do. Come on. Right, we are so close. So let's just see if I can. I'm more interested in the food just now. There we go. There's only a bit left. Look. Hey guys, look. Mmm. Yum. Look at that. No. Too interested in your grub. Look. They're not convinced yet. I'm going to step away. And you can sort of see why, another reason why I'd like to contain them a bit in this sort of nature reserve they're in. Because not only should it help groom the pasture a bit, you know, there'll be sheep probably in here after this, if not store cattle. sort of both classes of stock where you want better quality feed, and the idea is that you don't let it get sort of over fibrous. What? You see that? Look at that. Well done, 3605. Look at that. I think those two got it. So partly it's to sort of groom the pasture a bit, not let it get really fibrous and dense, because although that's great cow feed, like lambs use, lactating ewes, growing cattle, really do want sort of better quality stuff. And I think really like the length of time it took them to get up here, it shows you how much of the goodies are left in here, because they don't come up here very often, because as I say, the water troughs are both up. See, there's a tree up there and there's that sort of tree line up there. They'll be over, I don't know, over 300 meters away, easily, saying that. They're just going through all my stuff there to rescue that in a second. Part of the other thing is just these cows, they're quietening down, but they're not pets. And yes, they will follow a bucket slowly when there's green grass. It's kind of like I'm trying to tempt them through with a chocolate cake, tempt them into the pens or wherever I want to take them, should I need to do anything with them. But I'm having to walk them past a buffet of Black Forest Gatto or Baked Alaska or Knickerbocker Glory, because there's all these goodies, especially in here where they don't come up a lot. So the idea is, if I can just, she's wrecking my box there. The idea is if I can just get these girls contained, they should associate my presence with fresh grass, which hopefully should be a positive. Whenever they see me, they should expect to move, and like, yeah, it's a positive association. And also, if I can just get them trained properly to an electric fence, we should be able to set up some laneways, maybe that's optimistic, sort of into the cattle handling pens, which are in this field, just there. You know, if we need to move them from one side of the field to another, if we can set up an electric fence laneway, we might be able to, yeah, move them through it, because these girls, like I said, they're not wild, but they do not respond well to pressure. Bless them. So that is part one done. Next, we're trying to subdivide this smaller field within a field into some smaller paddocks. We'll catch up once I've found what I need. Okay, sit rep. It's a couple of weeks since we hooked up that water supply. I've not achieved very much other than that, but I'm going to try and do today, emphasis on the try, is set up a very simple one-strand electric fence, just to try and strip graze the strip sort of closest to the water supply. I've not got any extra MDPE pipe yet, but I can, and the idea is we'll sort of graze strip by strip by strip, hopefully try and back fence. I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do that yet, but let's see if we can get this done, eh? And in the 2 weeks, I think it's been about 2 weeks, the cattle have been in here. They're still alive. They've found the little water trough we hooked up. So, and the grass, this isn't like the flashiest, newest herbal layer. Like I said before, it's sort of a good old fashioned permanent pasture. It's never going to grow like as much grass as, you know, a fresh reseed, but it has been absolutely romping, and in as far as it's going to romp, because it's been sort of nice warmth. There's some actually pretty hot days, sort of mid to high teens, and there's still plenty of moisture left in the soil, and we've had a good drenching the last couple of days. So bar putting on any sort of fertilizers, which I'm not sure Ollie and Fraser do for this particular field, this is about as much grass growth as we're going to get. And if it continues like this, if we have a summer like this, then we're going to have grass coming out our ears. That sort of sums up why, even if just as a bit of an experiment, I appreciate we're not a big farming outfit here, I want to try and sort of strip graze, or at least rotationally graze it a little bit, just to see how much grass we might be able to grow. Anyway, right, let's get the line set up. So, got plenty of wire. This reel I got as a job lot when one of our clients was selling their goats they were rotationally grazing, and I've gone for these Gallagher handles because you can sort of hook it on, do it with one hand, and that's insulated. That make sure that makes sure this doesn't get electrified. But say I did want to electrify it, and I would never electrify barbed wire, but just to illustrate you see it's tied on there, that electrifies this bit, and if I wanted to, that would electrify that. Or perhaps if this was like a permanent, semi-permanent wire, the idea is that would then electrify that. But because we don't want to electrify the barbed wire, because that is not a go, I'm going to hook this up here. I've got these these posts are from, my girlfriend used to have a horse, and I borrowed these posts now. Will they work very well? I don't know. You see they're sort of stepping there, and we'll just have to see. Like you can tell, I've begged, borrowed, stole, and bought the old bit for this, because like that's the entire herd there. So it's probably still overkill anyway, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to hook this up. I'm going to walk it out to the sort of fence in the background there, hang up my reel, and set the posts in. No idea if that's the right order to do it in, but we'll see. Battery energizer here. I've got a battery in this box down here. Just need to untangle some of the wires. Talking as if I know what I'm doing. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to sit this on, but anyway. I've got a battery. I've got an earth. In fact, I've got a new earth actually. So, battery, I've got a lid for that. Hooked up to the positive and the negative terminals. That goes back to the energizer, which is also earthed. Over here, I have no idea if that's a deep enough earth connection, but we'll find out. And then, so that's, I think someone's just had a shock. That's clicking, that's attached to the wire. So I guess we'll see who's brave enough. Am I brave enough? Oh, goodness. I'm gonna take the cheats way out, or we'll find out here. Yep, there's a crack. That's working. Now you can see the calf, it's going to go underneath, so I'm hoping, not too worried about that at the moment. Oh. Steady on. Do I need to raise that a bit? So that's sort of slightly awkward height. I wonder about disconnecting it for a second and moving it up here. Because as you can see, they're not big cows and heifers, like they are not. Just don't want them to go under, that's all. I don't really mind the calf going under. There we go. I think he's loving life. There you go. Good girl. Yeah, I think I will raise it. I think I will raise it up, I think. Doesn't really matter if Figgy goes away, because I think she is going to stay with these girls anyway. Mum's quite good at calling her back. Hey girls, I know I've trapped you. We'll keep you on the move. This is the height I think I need to have it at. I've not even realised I've dropped the height actually. See it goes. I think this is the right height to have it at. Or is it? I don't know. Oh, it's quite warm. So, just want to make sure that this, no, that's not electrifying that. I was a bit worried this actually electrified, but that's mustn't be connected to any of this. You see, this got this stopper here to stop it loosening off. Probably got a bit too much wire on that reel, but never mind. Right, that's it, raised up, and I think that is right. I think that's right. Ultimately, if it all goes completely tits up, I don't think they're going to break anything. And if they did, there's not, you know, it's not a great value of things to break. And they just get out to the rest of the paddock. So, I mean, it's not like it's a perimeter fence and I'm trying to keep them off the road. It's an experiment. The worst it could do is they walk through the fence and I'll have to go back to the drawing board. So, yeah, I'm fairly happy with it at the moment. I'm going to hook it back up and we'll just have to see how we go. Hey, like, I've got no idea if it'll work. We might do a week of it or less and it's just a complete disaster. They might not respect the fence at all. Hey, but like, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. What a load of bollocks. Anyway, I'm gonna re-electrify this fence. Right, so that's the first video. We'll try and do some sort of grazing updates. Everyone's pretty happy, I think, once they've got the grips with this fence. Yeah, I'll try and do some grazing updates and let you know how it goes. Like I say, the update might be, God, that was a disaster. Never doing that again, but hopefully not. No, in fact, it definitely won't be. It'll just be, it's not going to be minor tweaks, or it's going to be major tweaks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll try and get some more vetty content out soon. In the meantime, if you don't want to miss that, you know what to do. Click subscribe, ring the little button. Stay tuned for the next one.